Sports Limelight, episode 26. Salutations, Drew.
Hey, Bill, happy Easter to you.
Happy belated Easter to you, too.
How was your weekend?
It was good, thank you. Yeah, good family time for Easter. That's always nice.
Yeah.
Same for you?
Yep. Saw family, found some eggs, good old times.
All right.
Yeah, so speaking of hunts, what's up with the Saints audio and stuff?
Oh, man. Yeah, we briefly touched on this last week, but then the Gregg Williams audio came out the end of last week, so we felt like that it deserves mentioning again. Just really troubling, the specific mentions of hitting the head, affect the head, and mentioning another player's ACL really takes it to another level.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to think that, this is just one instance, what goes on in the locker room. I mean, what else could be said in other teams' locker rooms? Right.
What else did Gregg Williams say? Maybe he says those kind of things about every Saints opponent every week.
Right.
Now, one thing you mentioned there, what makes me think is when people will kind of flippantly say, oh, every team does it or other teams do it. We heard the same sort of thing regarding Spygate, like, implying that teams other than the Patriots were videotaping. And that might be true, but to that I say we know this team was doing it, so it doesn't take them off the hook any. Of course, that's not what you were saying. And from my perspective, unless you have specific proof that the Giants are doing something like this, I don't even like people implying that they could be, because the Giants are a team that is included in the group called, teams other than the Saints.
Yeah. Well, with all the new stuff that's been surfaced, I'm glad that the NFL has upheld all of the penalties for the Saints.
Yeah, I wondered, right after hearing the Gregg Williams audio, was that factored in when the NFL first made the punishment? But regardless whether it was or not, Goodell upheld his ruling today, and you have to, again, feel like it was the right decision and that these penalties were not too harsh.
Mm-hmm. Well, on the other side of the spectrum, we have a team that has gone together in a positive way to go 40-0. I'm talking about the Baylor's women's basketball team.
Hey, how about that? Led by Brittany Griner, who can dunk, right?
Yeah, she dunked about 2 or 3 times in the actual tournament.
Now I'm going to defer to you on this. Did you see any of the dunks, and were they impressive?
I saw one, and it was I believe it was a rebound, and she just kind of went one step and put it back in. It wasn't like a running start or anything, so.
Okay, that's pretty solid then.
Yeah, it wasn't like she was all alone and had like 20 steps ahead of us.
Yeah.
Any sport, any male or female, going undefeated for a season is it's quite the impressive.
Yeah, you're judged by the level of your competition.
Exactly, yeah. It's all, all relative.
Yeah, and I'm really not interested in women's sports, and I feel a bit guilty about that because I support, equality in certain matters, especially such a great and rewarding field as sports.
Uh-huh.
But not to be sexist, but this is kind of a real legit thing. Women just can't do what men can athletically. That's a fact. So, and I'm reminded of one of my favorite Jerry Maguire quotes when he's talking to Rod Tidwell. That's not what inspires people. And just, I think women's sports just doesn't inspire me, and it inspire me to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming from your point. It's why watch women's basketball when you can watch men who play it at a much higher level? Why would you not just watch that?
Right. And that doesn't even apply to all sports. Women are better at gymnastics, so I'd imagine if I was a gymnast, I might be more interested in watching women's gymnastics than men's gymnastics.
Yeah, this is true.
Now, transitioning here in kind of our quicker grab bag format today, I understand you watched a little of the Masters golf tournament over the weekend, Drew.
I did, yeah. I was rooting for Phil Mickelson there until he got that triple bogey on hole 3 or 4,
Ooh.
Which kind of set him back. But kind of ironic, another left-handed golfer won the Masters, Bubba Watson. So
interesting. Is it about the same percentage as in society, where 9 or 10% are left-handed, or are there maybe a little bit more left-handed golfers?
To be honest, it's probably less in golf. Now, off the top of my head, I can only think of 3 left-handed golfers.
Wow.
On the PGA, so And two of them were in the hunt for the title this weekend.
That's good quality over quantity there.
Yeah, and of course, to everyone's chagrin or not, Tiger Woods was not anywhere in the picture.
Right.
Now I think he was one of the favorites because he had won 2 weekends prior to the Masters. So people were wondering, is he back or whatnot? But
thought he had found it again.
Exactly, yeah. But Phil was close to the lead going into Sunday, and then pulled a good old Phil and had to play catch up the rest of the day and couldn't make it. He's
sort of known for folding a little bit more. Like I remember Gregg Norman was kind of the standard for choking in golf.
Yeah, the shark. Yeah, yeah. Phil just he doesn't like choke. Like he doesn't miss putts or stuff like that. He just takes too many chances, too many different weird chances.
Oh,
puts him in that awkward place to mess up. So
I see.
But yeah, that's him. That's him in a nutshell. Now, speaking of wild, crazy weekends, congrats, Bill, on your victory in fantasy.
Thank you very much, Drew. It was a pleasant surprise to defeat Dave, a team that I thought would have beaten me almost any other week. So I've already gone farther than I thought, and it's great to be in the finals with a team as solid as Brad's. Prediction-wise, I'm going to double down on my pessimism and call for a 70-point Brad victory.
Oh, man. You and your glass half empty.
To the end, right?
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, my poor showing was nothing of newsiness, so...
Yeah, you hung in there for a while, kind of... when we made our predictions last week, I think I said you'd lose by about 20 or 25 points, but that's closer than it appears, and that's pretty much what it was. You were hanging around, but just didn't quite get one of those inspiring performances, to go back to my Jerry Maguire quote, to really pull you above the 300 mark and challenge for the win. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I made a loyal mistake by keeping everyone that I drafted this year. Yep, the 15 for 15 method didn't work out this year. Now, do you when you learn from a season, do you tend to take more from the playoff week than any other week, or do you kind of try to look at it at the season as a whole and not kind of overreact to the last thing you saw? I try to do a season as a whole, and especially with this season because it was really quirky with the schedules and whatnot. But it's tough to get all upset about 1 week. So yeah, I kind of I remember falling into that trap in the past where I'd look at the past finals week, which is pretty much random in the NBA season. 1 week in the middle or end of March usually, and I'd look at it one year and see that Tim Duncan happened to get a 38 that week. So I kind of create a narrative around it. Like, Tim Duncan, he is a clutch playoff player. He's the kind of guy you want on your team just for those playoff weeks. But it's really not the case. Yeah. It's better to look at the big picture. What's interesting about this season is our playoffs were so close to the actual NBA playoffs. Right. Yeah, we pretty much used the entire season for our fantasy game this year. Whereas when it's a full season, we'll be able to throw out the last couple of weeks. Yeah, so the actual playoffs start on the 26th. Wow, that's only 2.5 weeks away. Yeah, so when the NBA playoffs start, we should start thinking about who we think is going to win. Absolutely, we will make our playoff picks, and especially someone as good at picks as you have been, man. Especially with your NFL picks. This is Drew's picks are not to be taken lightly, folks. Well, I can't wait for that episode. Sports Limelight, episode 26, wrapping up our kind of grab bag of multiple sports topics here. I'll close with a pretty light note. Drew, do you have any examples of things that you discovered fairly recently that are so good that you wish you would have learned way earlier? Yes, Cocoa Pebbles. Cocoa Pebbles, huh? How about you? Just a delicious cereal. Well, mine is freezing berries. I so often had strawberries and grapes go bad on me, and then I learned that you can just put them in the freezer, wash them first so they don't get all messy. But that works just fine. Man, what a fresh idea! Well said, sir. Sports Limelight again, episode 26. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you again soon.